Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. So, so good to see you guys again. Woohoo. Rosin, I saw your camera and I was so excited. I thought, wow, what a shift from yesterday. Or Rosalind, if I'm saying your name wrong. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to day 2 of our 4-day mini course here. What are your emotions really telling you? And I share that today is a big day. Today's a breakthrough day. Today's a day for you to have the opportunity to move through some emotions, to let yourself process and release. I'm going to share some tools with you that give you the ability to shift out of an emotion so that you can bring in your magic emotion, the one that we talked about yesterday. So no worries if you don't know what your magic emotion is. You can watch the recording, but you can also create one today through our process here. So drop in the chat what chakra you worked on today. And with that, what did you do to support your chakra? I did see Laura's post and I did see Lisa's post today. So you two are winners. And what am I gifting you? I had a couple ideas. I'm going to wait to the end. So, but please remind me to share your gift because I had two things, but I want to see how today unfolds to see which one will best serve you after today's class. Okay. So, let me know, remind me if I forget, because I might get, into the class and then forget about your prize. All right. So team, please remind me as well. Okay. Awesome. I do want to just go over the empowerment stance. Lisa, thank you for asking me. Hi, Lynn. I hope your head is
Hi,
feeling
honey.
better. Hey, Linda.
Yeah, much better, thank you.
Awesome. And so, Linda, I'm glad you're feeling better. Lynn, I'm glad you're feeling better as well. I wanted to go over really quick before we started today's session. Yesterday, when I went through the chakras, I forgot to give you the tool for the solar plexus. So Lisa was asking for me and I realized I had forgot to mention it. And it happens to be one of the most powerful tools, if used consistently, that could shift you at any time. So I wanted to share that with you today. So what that is called the empowerment stance. And so let me get my head in the camera here. When you stand up, see, you want to put your hips almost like Superwoman, like right behind or even on your hips. Your shoulders are back and your chin is slightly forward. And that's called an empowerment stance. It actually opens up all of your chakras, but it starts here and then opens up the energy through all of it. And when you do that stance, that was studied in Harvard. I call it the Superwoman stance. I think the Harvard study calls it the empowerment stance. But that stance alone actually has been studied on what it does energetically for you. And if you do it for 3 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to even be consistent minutes, it could be 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, or whatever, that you actually have the opportunity to shift your energy, feel more confident, feel more empowered, feel stronger. And it only takes 3 minutes a day. How cool is that? So that's the empowerment stance for the solar plexus. It's a really powerful tool. I remember when I learned that tool and when I first started my business, I was going in to give a talk and I was so nervous, right? Like just so, it was like, I was like, freshly in business. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be talking to a bunch of strangers. And I remember, okay, I'm just going to get there a few minutes early, put my hands on my hips, my shoulders back, take a couple deep breaths. And I was like, all right, I got this. So I could go in and fully prepared and felt strong. So it is a powerful tool. All of these tools that I'm sharing, they may seem so simple. And today you're going to learn, I want to say a really simple tool and a silly tool. And, but I encourage you to use it consistently, right? Because these simple, small tools are what make big changes. A lot of times clients come to me and they think that they have to have this big, huge aha moment to have a major breakthrough. But what it is are small moments stacked on small moments, stacked on small moments, stacked on small moments, that all of a sudden you have this big transformation. And you're like, how did that happen? Right? You look back and how does that happen? I don't understand. So what I'm sharing with you this week is really about these small, consistent steps that you get to take. Okay, so I do want to just make one quick announcement in the sense that today is the last opportunity to take advantage of the clarity call. This is for you if you're new to the BKISS industry community. You didn't sign up for your clarity call yesterday and you want some clarity around the work that you're doing here, or just some additional support in your life. So if you're new and you want to be supported, take advantage of this. It is $100 call that we're offering for free to fully be supported. So if you've had a clarity call, I don't know if you've had anybody's here had a clarity call, but if you have, just drop in the chat how it was for you. Angelica is a really amazing coach. And so if you've had one in the past or have had one recently, go ahead and drop that down, what it was like for you. So what today is all about, amazing and informative. Awesome. Oh, that's why I'm not seeing the comments. They're over here. Sherry says she did some heart chakra painting. Awesome. 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 Okay. So today is, what are your emotions really telling you? You know, your emotions are your attraction factor. They are what attract things into your life. And I couldn't for the life of me years ago understand why I was having things in my life that were upsetting to me. Because I was what I thought was happy. I thought, you know, I had the great husband, I had the children, I was a stay-at-home mom, I had everything that I wanted. And you go to callwithangelica.com to sign up for your clarity call. Thanks for asking. And I thought I had everything that I wanted, and yet I still was so unhappy. And I was attracting things in my life that was causing conflict, like fights with my husband, or fights with friends, or just, you know, resenting my children. And I shared a lot of my story yesterday. And so all of that stuff, it was like, what was really happening? It's because inside, into my subconscious mind, or in you know, in my internal belief system, were emotions of undeserving, emotions of not worthy, emotions of feeling underappreciated. Drop down if you relate. Which one are you relating to? You know, it just was like, I didn't know they were there, but my experiences in my life were showing me that. Right? So today we're going to tap into your emotions, because your emotions are your attracting factor. And I wanted to break through and break free of those emotions so that I could truly be happy, not this fake happy on the outside, right? But this really internally happy person, because that's what I believed was we were meant here to be. And I believe that now we're meant here to be happy and excited and supported. So today I want to make sure, as we begin to dive in, that you have two pieces of paper. You have your journal. If you have your journal for the class, you can use this session in the journal for the notes. But I want you to have two separate pieces of paper. Use the back of the journal, whatever you feel okay. But one paper you might want to get rid of. So I'm just asking you to bring a separate, have a separate piece of paper. I know it's last minute, but hopefully you have something with you. And so what we're going to do is, how do I get a journal? Irish, can you drop the link for the journal here in the chat? And so Lynn can grab a journal. Okay, so yesterday we talked a lot about tuning in, a lot about understanding the pillars of transformation, giving you the idea, the concept that you You can't transform. Transformative neuroreiki, the process that we use through this challenge and into my program is is a process that transforms on all levels, not just your mental state, not just your physical or emotional. It's on your energetic, on your emotions, on your physical, on your mindset, as well as your subconscious mind. We work on reprogramming your energy. See, energy can never be created nor destroyed. And so we have to reprogram it. We have to redirect the energy to something that is of what you want, right? Because you can't just release stuff. Otherwise, your old thinking will come back unless you redirect your energy. So we're going to talk a lot about today about identifying the stuff that's keeping you trapped where you are. So today, as we go through today, I'm going to ask you to stay to the end. And the reason for that is because it's a process a process that I don't want you to leave in the middle, right? Because if you leave in the middle, you might leave feeling crappy, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to leave feeling empowered and on to the other side. So we might go through some challenging things today. Not might, we will. You will. And so I'm
Hello?
gonna ask, oh, just mute everybody, please. I can hear you, so I'm hoping you're here. And so you want to stay to the end so that you can have the transformation, right? So remember, the fastest way to heal is to reconnect with yourself. And if you aren't in tune with your emotions and you're not sure where you're at, there's no way to release. So yesterday you started that process of tuning in, that process of becoming aware of what's happening, right? But that's not enough. Awareness and like I look at the people like, let me just reflect on this. Let me gain awareness around this. Okay, but that's just the beginning. That's not the transformation. Awareness is the key to start transformation, right? You cannot transform unless you're aware of what you get to transform. And so Sheila, she was a woman that came to me through something similar to what you guys are doing. And she was so good at hiding her emotions. So good at hiding her emotions. She was happy for everybody else, showed up strong and empowered, and she could conquer the world until it became for herself. When she had to show up for herself, she was nervous, scared to express herself, scared to be seen. Like she didn't want to have to turn her cameras on. She was like, heck no, that is not happening until the first class. And then she turned her cameras on and moved forward. And I share her story with you because she was so nervous about having to like talk about her stories again with people, about uh letting people in her vulnerability and knowing all of her past history. I'm going to tell you today, right here, you are going to go through a process and you're going to have a shift, and I won't even know what exactly you're working on. That's how powerful this work is. I don't even need to know because you are your healer. I'm just the guide guiding you there. So she was able to move quickly out of that belief and really start to open up and have, um, feeling confident. I believe right after a process like this, or 10-week or 13-week program, right after that, she got a promotion because she was able to speak up for herself and put herself out there and stop playing small. So she was able to level up in her career as well as with her family and her spouse. And so it really was a beautiful scenario. And so this is the opportunity for you. So I want you today to commit to playing full out, commit to being here 100%. You know, I remember, so for those that don't know me, my name's Brenda Kiss. I'm your coach for the week. I've helped thousands of women reduce your anxiety, overwhelm, self-doubt, to create a life of happiness, joy, of confidence, so that you could truly love the life that you live and create and manifest great things in your life. And I remember showing up in a transformational class. I was super skeptical. I was very angry. And I was like, okay, this woman talks a good game, but this woman talks a great game, but can she really help me? And then she told me, not me, the whole class, that she wanted me to go on a sugar-free diet. That was her plan to help me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've already done this 1,000 times. I don't want to go on another diet. Like I've done 1,000 diets, right? I came for you so I didn't have to do a diet. And so I was skeptical and I was like, do I really even want to play full out? So drop in here if you're skeptical or uh like feel like you're holding yourself back because you don't know if this stuff will work, or you know, maybe you don't want to be seen or whatever. If you're feeling skeptical, I just want to share that skepticism is okay. I was so skeptical during that class, but I still allowed myself to be curious. Curiosity is the catalyst. It is the beginning stages of change. Courage is the catalyst of change. When you have the courage to do something, even though it feels scary, but you have the courage to stay committed or to move forward, that's the catalyst of change. But curiosity is what gets you to where you got to go, right? So I thank you for your transparency, Lisa. And I was afraid too, because I had tried so many things. I had tried so many things. Diet, exercise, self-help books. I shared all of that yesterday. And I had already spent thousands of dollars on wanting to feel good and nothing was working. And then when she told me I had to go on a sugar-free diet, I was like, oh, this is never going to work. But I also trusted that there was a part of me that knew I was there for a reason. And so I just started to get into curiosity. And you all get curious. You want to know how I know this? Because you all play the what if game. What if it doesn't work? What if I can't, what if I can't stay committed? See, you're curious, but just in the wrong direction. Because guess what? Whatever you think becomes reality. Whatever you believe becomes true. So I always say, if you want to be curious, get curious in a way that's going to empower you. What if it does work? What if I go through today's class and I get transformation? What if I allow myself to be open and vulnerable and move through the process here tonight and have like this big release? What if I'm allowed to let go of my anger? What if that is possible? What if I'm allowed to, I allow myself to forgive? I allow myself to move forward. I allow myself to be seen and put myself first without guilt. Because you can put yourself first, but if the guilt is there, then we got to work on the guilt, right? You get to put yourself first without guilt. Anybody watching Charlotte, the Queen from Bridgerton? And the movies, it's a series on Netflix called Bridgerton. Anyhow, there's this woman. She was forced into marriage, like that's prearranged marriage, and she married a guy that loved her but wouldn't let himself be with her because he was I don't want to share too much because I know people watch the series and I don't want to give away the punchline, but I'm on the second to last episode, or even the beginning of the last episode, and the queen was not standing in her power. She was still letting everybody make her decisions for her. And she decided that she was going to stand in her power and she was going to take charge of her life. Even though back in that time, a queen really had no power, right? The king had all the power. And she declared that. And when she did, it shifted the whole dynamic in her relationship to empowerment, to love, to beauty. And so when you allow yourself, play it, so be curious, but be curious in a way that's going to empower you. She decided to be curious and say, okay, well, what if I step into my power? What if I do what I want to do? What if I take charge of my own life instead of everybody telling me what to do? And by her doing that, it absolutely empowered the king, empowered her brother, empowered her friend, and empowered change in the whole nation of England. And this is a fictitious, a character, is not a real story. So you get to be curious. So skepticism isn't a bad thing. It's you get to be curious about what is possible. What if you do what you allow yourself? So commit today to play full out. Commit today to make some change. And so right now, I'm going to have you start to decide where you are as a person. And, we all fall somewheres. And so you get to look at your life, because I look at it to, you get to be that queen, right? You get to be the queen or the princess. I actually want to be a princess, but queen is cool too. But you get to be that version of you. But there's many levels, there's many staircase to get there. It doesn't just happen like this. It doesn't just happen overnight. And so I'm going to share some pieces that I feel that you get to self-identify. You get to identify where you are so that you can then do this next process with us, right? So the first, I'll say, step on the staircase to your greatest self is the bottom rung, right? That's the victim. That's the victim or the martyr. That's where you're living in blame. You're living in guilt. You're living in resentment. Nothing goes your way. Everybody's against you. Nobody helps you. You have to do it all yourself. I used to blame my husband and make him feel terrible because I was the victim. And I would blame my husband for my unhappiness. And I would blame him for going to work to support our family. And I would tell him how horrible he was about leaving me with the 3 kids by myself all the time. So when you're a victim, you blame other people for your problems, other people for your emotions, and you take absolutely no responsibility for yourself. Everybody else is your problem. The government's your problem. Oh, it's all the government's fault. The world is still going to crap. It's the government's fault. Politics. Maybe it's at work. Oh my God, my boss just treats me like crap. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's your children. But that lies the victim. That's like, I would do this, but I would be happy, but I can't because I have this health problem. I have this health problem. I have this health problem. Or I would be happy if only I had a way out. That gives you absolutely no power. And you release your power to everybody else. So if you feel you're in the victim role, right? Victim, you don't have to share here, just identify it for yourself. The next step up is the self-healer. The self-healer is when you are ready to take care of yourself, you're ready to take action, you realize that there is a better way for you. You realize that there's a better way. You may not know what that way is, but you realize that, you know what, something's got to change. And if it all starts with me, my world is the way it is because I get to work on myself, the self-healer. And I want to say, going from that victim to the self-healer is a big deal because now you are realizing that you are responsible for the crap in your life, for the shit that's happening. And the moment you don't want to take that responsibility, you go right back into the victim. And so I remember making that shift for myself, going from the victim to the self-healer. I then went into self-beat up, right? So then once I realized that I was responsible for my life and I was responsible for the things in my life, I started then to beat myself up. So then what did I do? Put myself back into the old pattern of victimhood. So the self-healer is the one that's totally ready. She's ready to make a difference in her life. And she's not going to let anyone or anything or anything get in her way from making change. Then you have the healer. The healer is the person, once she starts making change, she's ready to go out and share her gifts, such as words of kindness, inspiration, prayers, generosity, because she knows she gets to take care of herself first. And then she gets to bring that and her love and her compassion and however that shows up to the world, whether it's in your work, whether it's in a convenience store. I remember a couple months ago, my son and I were skipping into, we have a store called Wawa. It's a convenience store. And we're skipping in, and this gentleman opened the door. He's like, wow, what a burst of sunshine, right? That's a healer. That's a healer who's just sharing her gifts with the world. Not for just to be. You're so excited about who you are. You know who you are. You I want to say you're on the verge of knowing who you are. You're starting to discover pieces of you, and you're having transformation, and you're ready to bring that what you're transforming out to the world. And then the next rung up is an inspired leader, where you're on a mission. You are on a mission, an absolute mission to help others go form a place of wholeness within, and you become an inspiration. I'm not saying you have to become a life coach or anything like that, but you become a leader. I know so many people in the corporate world that have taken this role on of owning their gifts and their power and leading people in becoming self-healers and becoming a healer. And so after the inspired leader, the next is the highest level. And I call that the goddess or the queen or the princess, whichever one feels good to you. To me, they're all the same. She is a confident, powerful, strong woman who knows who she is, knows what she wants, knows what she stands for. She owns her internal power. She's connected to her higher self. And she receives, she's like in a flow. People want to be around her because she's in this flow of giving and receiving. She's just in this beautiful energy of flow. You know who this person is. You either are strongly attracted to her, or you're like, oh my God, I can't stand her, right? Because you're the total opposite end of the spectrum. And you're like, this woman annoys the living hell out of me. I got to get rid of her right now. I got to get away from her right now, right? So, but those are the ladders. So identify where you are. Identify where you are, and then we're gonna, we're gonna, if you feel comfortable and want to, you could drop it in the chat. And then I want you to grab your piece of paper. I love that, victim on the verge of change. Yes. Self-healer, awesome. What was the second? The self-healer, the one that's ready to make change and isn't going to let her old stories get in her way and pull her back down. Okay, everybody got their paper? Give me a thumbs up in the camera if you got your paper. Okay, awesome. So I want you to think, where do you want to be on this ladder? Irish, can you drop in victim, self-healer, healer, I'll say it slower. Victim, self-healer, healer, inspired leader, goddess, or you can put in parentheses, queen, princess. That's it. After that, you can, yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to look at victim being the bottom, goddess being where you want to go. Okay. maybe it's where you want to go. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so I want you to think about, where is it that you want to be? Where is it that you want to be? Where is it that you want to be? Drop it in the chat so I can see that you're with me. Goddess. Yes. Yes. Love it. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a box on your paper, kind of in the middle, but it's not going to take up the whole paper. Can you see that? I guess I should have a marker. I do have a marker. So I have a big piece of paper here, but my box is just in the middle. And guys, I add a little bit of content, so I may go over time tonight, but I wanted to give you, based on yesterday's class, I wanted to give you a little bit more today. So, okay, you see the box? You see how I have much more paper? It's like this little tiny box, right? And in that box, you're going to write down the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that are keeping in the beliefs. Beliefs are lies that you tell yourself that create energy, that create stories, that either empower you or disempower you. So you can tell yourself a story like, I am awesome, and that there's no way to prove that. It's just self-talk that proves that, right? Or I can tell myself that I'm terrible, and then that creates thoughts and creates actions, and that's how a belief unfolds. So what are the stories or the beliefs or the lies that you are telling yourself that are keeping you from being the goddess? So Linda, write in the box, what's keeping you from feeling happy? Linda S. Circumstances. Circumstances will never change. It's what do those circumstances make you feel? What are the thoughts around those circumstances? What are the beliefs around those circumstances? I call this box thinking. There you go. Then you put that inside your box. I will never be where I want to be. It's cold all day now. I'm hot. Okay, so continue. I'll give you one more minute. Continue to write down any thoughts, any feelings, any beliefs, any stories that are keeping you inside that box from being the goddess or the inspired leader or the healer, wherever you want to be. I'm assuming you want to get out of the bottom two, or you wouldn't be here. I know we're digging into your emotions, and yes, this may be uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable, but listen, on the other side of this is a breakthrough. So get it all out. Get it all out right now. Maybe you're holding on to blame or anxiety or sadness or negative thinking, anger. Any of those low vibrational feelings is keeping you from being made to feel uncomfortable is healing. there is a part that you have to get in touch, right? You know, for years, I shared yesterday that I covered up my feelings. I didn't want to be uncomfortable, so I ate myself away bigger and bigger. So, Lynn, you don't if you're not able to put things down, so just think of something you want in your life. Name one thing, drop it in the chat. One thing that you want in your life that you don't have. Freedom. Freedom from what? What's causing you not to be freedom? Kids and husband. And then get specifically. What specifically about your husband? You don't have to share here. You can share, just journal, or you can share here if you want me to continue to guide you through. You don't have to, what specifically? Cancer. Okay. So both so I want to invite you, and I want to say this with sincerity and compassion and certainty, that you absolutely can create freedom even when we're going through a challenge like that. Because it's our thoughts and our feelings that what's holding you trapped are the feelings. So to put in the box the things that you're feeling. What's the opposite of freedom? And I want to thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. Trapped. So put trapped in the box. Can't help, right? Put that in the box. I can't help. They don't listen. Why don't they listen? What's the story you have that stops them from listening? What's under that? They don't listen uh, so we got to get to the root of why they don't listen, right? They don't listen as the circumstance to an internal thought that you have that is causing that reaction. And you can ask yourself, as a child, was I allowed to be, was I heard? Was I seen? Single parent, you are, you grew up with a one parent, or you are a single parent? You have a husband, so you must have grew up that way. So again, this is a prime example, and of the ego not wanting to get into the feelings, right? It keeps going back to circumstances. We got trapped, can't help, but now we're back into circumstances. Oh, I see. Okay. So what are the feelings around that? That around your husband passing? What are the feelings around being a single mom? What is your feelings around them not listening? All of that goes in the box. The ego does not want you to feel uncomfortable. Frustrating. Yes, put that in the box. It does not want you to feel uncomfortable. So it will then begin to divert your energy, and see how she was putting it outside, back on being like her circumstances, her kids, back on having a sick husband in the past. You get to be in touch with your feelings. It's easier to put things back out than it is to go in. Oh, you had the cancer. Oh my gosh. See how, gotcha. Okay, so what does just write all of the feelings that come up when you say these, all of the feelings that, I'm just gonna make stories up. If this was me, I'd be like, this sucks. My life sucks. I lost my husband. I was sick. My teenagers don't listen to me. I feel like crap. I feel worthless. Nobody cares about me. I can't help anybody, and that makes me feel awful. All of that would go in the box if that's the story, Lynn. So hopefully that helps you. So as you guys are working on that, both your husbands had cancer. Wow. Okay. So there's a pattern there that I can't go into, but if you sign up for a clarity call, I can have Angelica guide you around that. Okay, so here's the problem that I see when people begin to work on themselves with a coach or um or on their own. And you can tell me if you think this is true. You start doing positive thinking, mindset work, right? And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, if I do these affirmations, if I start meditating, if I start thinking positive, things are going to change. Well, I have to tell you, you can't put shit on top of an ice cream cone. You can't put ice cream on top of shit, because guess what? The ice cream will still taste like shit. So you have to clear out the shit. And when I see so often, so many times, it's like, okay, let's just talk positive. Let's just think positive. Let's work with gratitude and all of that. I'm not saying is a bad thing. I teach that. But what a lot of people do is they don't go into the root and pull out the garbage, pull out the shit, and they just want to put ice cream on top and think it's going to taste good. It ain't. Right? Or they do what's called spiritual bypassing or ignoring stuff and stuffing down. I was famous for this. I felt uncomfortable. Let me eat. Anybody got chocolate? I want to feel this. You spiritual bypass, a lot of healers talk about let's not just be happy. Just choose happy. And things do come down to a decision, but you also have to process and release the emotions on your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. Otherwise, it's putting ice cream on top of shit. So just ignoring stuff, pretending it doesn't exist, or numbing your emotions using food, drugs, alcohol, other people's problems. How many of you have used other people's problems to stop your own problems? That was a good one. It's called codependency. I have to help this person. I have to help that person. I have to help this person. Because when you help these people, you feel good inside and you don't have to think about your own stuff. Right? Or you are obsessed with food or always on a diet, or maybe you do some type of drugs so you don't have to feel, or alcohol, even smoking. So you can numb your problems, not process them, not deal with it. So here's what we're going to do. It's not, we get to dig into understanding, and you guys are working. Lynn, help us start to dig into what's really the problem for you. If we stay on the surface levels of emotions, we're not going to heal on the level that is going to be lifelong transformation, right? So as I shared yesterday, I struggled with weight. I struggled with weight my whole life. I was never happy in my body, no matter what size I was. I could have been a size 2 or a size 12, 16. And I was never happy, and no matter what. And it was always my weight that was making me unhappy. I would get angry. I would get resentful, sad. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to go in to really understand what it was. I just kept going up and down on the diets. But there was I'm going to take you through this process in a second to see if there's more that you get to add into this box. because I want to make sure you get the surface emotions. I want to make sure you get the deep emotions, right? So I realized that it had nothing to do with being angry and frustrated and annoyed over my weight. I had to release the emotion of feeling scared because I had a story around it was scary around being pretty because I was sexually, my uncle used to call me the pretty one. And my sister was always heavier than me. So I associated pretty with being skinny. And so therefore I never wanted to be skinny. And when I did, I felt scared internally. So then I would gain the weight up. I also covered up my girliness. I covered up my flirtatiousness. I covered up feeling pretty at all so that I didn't have to worry about being the chosen one. And what happens is all these emotions begin to literally stack on you, and you develop dis-ease in your body, whether it shows up as aches and pains, whether it shows up as disease, whether it shows up as unhealthy relationships. So if you're carrying emotions that you haven't processed, they're literally taking up residency in your body. So if you don't express the emotions, like I was talking about the ice cream on top of the shit, if you don't express the emotions and you don't process the emotions, you're not going to get anywhere. That's why I kept yo-yo dieting up and down, because I didn't process the emotion of being scared when I was skinny. Is this making sense to you guys? Drop down yes if this is making sense for you. Yeah. And so you have these things that the like these little incidences, and I'll say road rage because nobody should want to kill somebody over being cut off in a car. And it happens all the time. You know why? It's because they have so much anger stuck inside of them from previous experiences that I'm not saying being cut off shouldn't have a response, because we're entitled to our emotions, but it shouldn't want to make you kill the person, because all of that anger is stuck in you for years. And now that little thing just makes you even, want to hurt somebody. I remember I had family in from Hungary, and my son spilled a glass of milk or a glass of water on the floor. And she's just like, how are you not fuming angry right now? I was like, it's just a little milk or water on the floor. That's because she had so much stuff still, and unrelated to my son, but so much stuff in her life that she was angry that something little like that would make her so mad. So we get to dive in, and I know you started on your box, and I'm going to bring you into a small process right now. And in this process, you're going to see if there's anything more for you, okay, to come out. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in and out. Take another deep breath in and out. One more deep breath together. And out. And just allow yourself this moment to be here. Give yourself permission to just feel for a moment. And you'll be surprised at how easy it is now to allow your subconscious to open and guide you in to your deepest emotion that gets to be released tonight. So as you continue to breathe, I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and you just decide a one-word feeling that comes to you. So before I start, I want you to listen to my voice for a moment. And as you hear my voice, your body relaxes, your mind settles, and you allow yourself to feel, maybe for the first time in a long time. And as I begin to count down from 10 to 1, you allow yourself to be fully present, open, vulnerable, connected with yourself, to allow yourself to reveal to yourself the deepest emotion that's holding you back from being where you want to be, that's attracting different things in your life that you no longer want. 10, relaxing. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, going deeper and deeper into relaxation. 4, 3, that's right, just allowing yourself, knowing that it's safe, allowing yourself to feel safe in this moment to go deeper. 2, 1. What is the emotion you really get to release tonight? First thing that comes to your mind. What is the emotion that you get to release tonight? What is the emotion that you get to release tonight? And I want you to feel it, where you feel it. Where do you notice it in your body? And then I want you to begin to notice where your box of all those thoughts and emotions and feelings, where that box lives. Maybe it's multiple places. Maybe it's one place. But it lives within you somewhere, and maybe it shows up as a vision, a feeling, a sensation, a thought. And as you allow yourself to realize where that number one emotion is and where the box is, I want you to notice everything about this experience. Notice if there's any colors associated with it, any visions, any past memories. Notice if there's any sounds, any words. And notice the feeling. The heavy, is it dark? Is it light? Is there a temperature to it? Is there a shape or a texture? And as you allow yourself to fully find all parts of your box within you, imagine right now there is a container next to you on the one side of you. Imagine in your mind's eye. And on the other side of you is a magic toolbox. And in this magic toolbox is all you need to release this box and put it into the container outside of you. And in your magic toolbox, only you know what it is. And I've seen people use magic wands. I've seen people ask God as their magic toolbox. I've seen people use hammers and corkscrews and fishing rods. And I don't know, but you know. And if you don't know, you can allow yourself to use a vacuum and just allow the vacuum to pull out all parts of the box and the feeling and put it into the container next to you. So whatever you're using right now, allow the process of healing to happen. Begin to feel the box being lifted. Begin to notice. Begin to observe the sensations. and allowing all parts of your box, all parts of your feelings to go into the container that's next to you. As a matter of fact, as I count down from 10 to 1, you allow yourself to release all of it within you. You may actually need to move your body. So if you're feeling called to move your body, you're welcome to, or your breath. 10, allowing it to go. 9, giving yourself permission to release it now. Knowing that you've held on to it for so long, that it was such a big part of you, you can allow yourself to release it in this moment right now. 8. As a matter of fact, as I count down, as I continue to count down, you are surprised at how easy it is for you to release this now. 7, letting it go. 6, releasing it even faster than you thought you could. The subconscious mind works quicker and faster than you can ever imagine. Perhaps you're already there. 5, letting go even more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Psh, keeping your eyes closed, putting it all in the box next to you. And as you put it all in the box next to you, put a seal on that box. And then just take a white clearing light at the top of your head and clear out any residual parts of the box. Just bringing the white light down through the top of your head, down through your face and your neck and your chest, down through the rest of your body, your midsection, the front side and the back side. Clearing each chakra as you go down through the root chakra, down through your legs. And then it bounces back up even quicker than it went down. Scanning and releasing, putting any residual into the container. And now you have the container. And you get to get rid of this container. You get to say goodbye to this part of you that has no longer, that's keeping you trapped from where you want to be. So you're welcome to say whatever you want, but just allowing your container to go out, to be put somewhere where it can never return, in the earth, the ocean, off a cliff, to the angels, to God, the universe, whatever feels right to you. Allowing the container to be lifted, smashed, whatever it is, but allowing it to go, go, go. Seeing it go, feeling it go, hearing it go, releasing and letting go right now. 3, 2, 1. Psh. Keeping your eyes closed. Now you get to reprogram the energy that old box was taking. So right now, declare your magic feeling. And your magic feeling is the feeling you want to feel more of. Whether it's calm, peaceful, happy, whatever that is, imagine that you have this magic ball at the top of your head. And the ball of energy is just beginning to ooze, drip, flow down through the top of your head, the crown chakra, all the way down through your third eye, down through your heart and your throat and your shoulders. With this magic feeling. As you continue to allow the magic feeling to go down, all the way down to your feet, just expand the magic feeling. Make it bigger and stronger and louder and clearer. Letting it get to be so big and overwhelming. It just feels so good to be here. Let it wash all over you. Completely connect and embody this. Maybe you need to make your body physically bigger to own this. Maybe you need to breathe it in, feel it, just allow it to expand. Notice everything about you right here with this magic feeling. Intensify it, amp it up, turn it up, turn it up. Allow yourself to fully be embodied with your magic feeling right here, right now. Raise the intensity, triple it, triple the intensity. Yes, yes. And as you live in this magic feeling, what begins to be possible for you now? What begins to open up for you? What new ways of being, feeling? Notice the energy that you have. your health, your choices. Allow yourself to dream even bigger. See even more possibilities. Even more choices. Notice what it's like to step into your power. Feel this, experience it. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined or real. So you get to vividly imagine where you want to be, who you want to be, what you want to have and accomplish in your life. And with gratitude in your heart, placing your hands on your heart, just coming back into this moment of gratitude of who you are, who you get to be, what you get to accomplish. And on the second piece of paper in the moment, you're going to write in the middle of the paper your magic feeling and all the things that's possible for you now. I'm going to count down from 3 to 1. When I get to 1, you're going to pick up the pen and it's just going to flow out easily and effortlessly. 3, 2, 1, go. And then just take a moment, drop something in the chat, something that you're going to accomplish, a feeling you're going to have, something that came to you through that process. Realize you just went through a super powerful process of relief, of release, if you allowed yourself to go through the process. Calmness, independence, awesome. And so I'm going to give you an opportunity right now that I deserve happiness. I feel lighter. Woohoo! Yay! Yes, yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand up for a moment. And you're going to share, you're going to recall your magic feeling, whatever that magic feeling is for you, right? So I'll just pick, my magic feeling is excitement. Build a place for privacy. Then I can't hear you. You can't hear me? If I stand up, you can't hear me? Oh, if you stand up, you can't hear me. Oh, I can stand up. Okay, then you can stay seated. You're just going to play with the upper body. Okay. And everything is energy. So we want to, so talk about embodying emotions, right? You've embodied all the negative emotions for quite some time. And so I'm going to teach you how to embody this emotion that you just created. Everybody hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up in the camera if you can hear me. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I want you to think of your magic emotion. Mine is excited because I lived so rough on myself. I was never excited and I never gave myself permission to have fun. So I love the word excited, fun, joyful. Those are excited is my magic word. So we get to process emotions in 3 ways: movement, breath, and sound. So we're going to work on 2 ways to embody this emotion of your magic feeling. So everybody's will look different. Everybody's will sound different. I'm going to express mine, and then you're going to give yourself, and then I'll count down from 5 to 1, and you're going to allow your expression of your magic feeling to come out. So, and it will be organic, and you just get to trust what comes out. Okay. There's no judgment here. You just allow yourself to be in that feeling. Okay. So I'm going to share my magic feeling of excitement with my move and my emotion. I don't know what it is yet, but my movement and my sound. And so mine is like, yay! That's just what came to me. That's right. That's a step forward and a shimmy and a yes. So it has to be a movement and a sound. Okay. So we want to bring in this magic feeling. And so now when I do this, throughout the day, it's automatically going to drop you into your magic feeling with ease, right? So I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and you're going to create your magic expression. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome. Yes. Very cool. I want you to give yourself high fives for participating. I know this is super uncomfortable, but what's on the other side of comfortability? Freedom. Who wanted freedom? Freedom is on the other side. So here's what you get to do. You get to bring in that magic feeling all day tomorrow through that sound, through that movement. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to feel it. All you have to do is do it. And you automatically, it's associated with your magic feeling. It's going to come in into all parts of you. Okay. So I want to say that not, but end. When we get stressed, we will go back to what's familiar. The human mind will always go back to what's familiar. So I want to give you a tool right now to help you break patterns so that you can stay in that magic joy even more. Okay. So what you're going to do right now is you're going to think about a stressful time that you've recently had. I'm going to give you an example. When I am stressed, my pattern or coping mechanism used to be, let me go eat something. Right? I would unconsciously walk to the closet and eat. Maybe it's the complete opposite. You don't eat. I used to have a couple coping mechanisms, right? I shared them with you. People's problems, alcohol, eating, exercise. Actually, I used to use exercise to get out of dealing with my emotions, right? Because what happens is we create patterns. Everything in your life is a pattern. And so right now, I want you to think of that old emotion, if you can, the one that was in the box. You automatically have a pattern, so you don't have to feel it. Whether your pattern is to get mad, maybe your pattern is to yell, maybe your pattern is to eat, maybe your pattern is to do social media or to check out or to isolate. Drop in the chat for me, what is your pattern? What do you recognize for yourself as your go-to for when you don't want to do something, when you get frustrated or angry or overwhelmed or stressed? What's your pattern? You guys need help still? Disassociate, yeah. And how do you do that? Do you do like shopping or isolation, or just energetically, like just put up a wall? Isolation and smoke, shut down, isolate. Yeah, get quiet. I keep it all inside and burn all day, all night. Yeah. I want you to think about that for a moment. How is that serving your family? How's that serving your friends, your health, the people around you? my coping mechanisms, one of my coping mechanisms was with my kids. Now I told you yesterday, all I wanted to do was to be a stay-at-home mom. But because I gave my kids everything, I began to get resentful because I didn't take any time for me. So my coping mechanism with them was to yell. And that is so not who I am, right? I did not grow up in a yelling environment. I did not grow up with my parents that yelled at me, but I was yelling at my kids. And I was like, this is not healthy and I don't want this. So I came up with what's called a pattern interrupt. It literally stops that pattern for you to create a new pattern. Okay, so I know this may sound silly, and I know this may feel like it's a silly process, but I want you to realize that your brain is when you have a thought or a pattern, you have what's that called? Neurotransmitters that connect and create a thought, and then you have neuroplasticity that over time that builds up when you have this continuous thought or this continuous pattern, right? So when you have this continuous pattern and a thought, things happen so easily because it's already there. It's like creating a new thought, like your old thought is like 3 times as thick, right? So what I'm about to teach you is a way to break up that pattern and create a new one. Break up the pattern and create a new one, right? So such a simple process. It's super powerful. If you use it, it's powerful. Remember what I talked about yesterday? Don't be a bystander. Don't take the information in. Use it. Use it because it's going to help you. And so when I was yelling at my kids, I used to do 2 things. At night, when it was bedtime and I would go to yell, I created a pattern interrupt. Now, a pattern interrupt today is going to also have a movement and a sound, right? So I used to go, stop in the name of love in the middle of like whatever they were doing. And they would literally stop. And the moment they did, I say, okay, it's bedtime, guys. And without having to yell, without having to count down, without any of this, I was able to shift them into bed. Or when they were fighting in the car, I used to I made up an alternative personality, be like, "Oh my God, are you guys totally fighting again?" Like in a silly sound, and it would drive them crazy. It would get their attention and they would stop fighting. I interrupted the pattern of yelling by doing something silly, right? So you're going to create what I call a pattern interrupt for yourself. So you did just clear out this whole thinking, but this whole thinking box, right? And created a new image for yourself, new emotions, new possibilities. And I want to give you a tool for when you get into a stressful situation, something to use. All right. So we're going to come up with what's called your pattern interrupt. And it goes something, it could be anything. It could be pickleballs. It could be peanut butter jelly. It could be, I love monkeys. I love monkeys. It could really be, it just gets to be silly. It gets to be funny. And you get to be creative here. And so I just want to share a story about someone I worked with. She came and she would have her camera on, but it'd be so dark that you couldn't see her. She didn't want to be seen. She didn't want to be noticed. She didn't feel worthy. And so when we were doing this process, she goes, I don't know. I can't think. I don't have nothing. I'm not creative. I have no fun in my life. Anybody feeling that way? No? Oh, a little bit? Okay, awesome. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to share one with you. And you can totally own it. There's nothing wrong with, I'll share the one I share with her. You can own it for yourself, or you can laugh at it and pick a different one for you. I had someone use farquad, blueberries, bananas, all different things. It doesn't matter what it is. If Sherry's not on here, hers is chocolate bunnies, I think, something like that. But the one I shared with the woman I was working with was hairy peanuts, not hairy penis, hairy peanuts. Right? So you can totally use hairy peanuts if you want, because it will now forever be something that totally interrupts your thought pattern. And it works. If you're offended by it, don't use it. Use something else. But you get to pick something. So And it gets to be a sound and a little movement. So it could be like Harry Peanuts or Harry Peanuts, or I don't know, mine was Stop in the Name of Love, or I took on a new personality. So I'm going to count to 3 and you're going to pick something. So simple. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. What is it? Everybody got theirs? I like it, Linda. I saw you. Yes. So if you got something, write it down. If not, you're going to use Harry Peanuts. And if you got it, and just put a Y in the chat so I know you have it. Awesome. So if you don't have one of your own, you can pick. I gave you 3 examples. Stop in the Name of Love. You can pick Belinda, or you can use Harry Peanuts, or bananas, or I do that frankly. So I'm trying Harry Peanuts. There you go. I love it. Okay, so part of your homework tomorrow. So you have 2 things for growth work tomorrow. And then I have one more thing to share with you, and then we'll drop our takeaways from tonight's class. One is tomorrow, I want you to 3 times tomorrow minimum do your magic sound, your magic feeling sound, the one that you created just a few minutes ago. And I also want you to do this first, okay? When you find yourself, now this part's in the journal. It says there's I don't know exactly what it says in the journal, but there's a 1 through 7. How are you really feeling? I think it might say in the journal. When you find yourself wanting to go back to your old coping pattern, I want you to do your pattern interrupt, Harry Peanuts, and then ask yourself 7 times, what is it that I'm really feeling? What is it that I'm really feeling? What is it that I'm really feeling? And when you get to that bottom of feeling, I want you to close your eyes and just allow your body and sound and breath to process it. And then you do your magic feeling afterwards. Okay, let me break this down. You notice your, I love that you love it. You notice your coping mechanism wanting to come in, whether that's yelling, isolating, or whatever, right? You do your pattern interrupt, your funny sound. You ask yourself the question, I'll say 7 times, but you just judge it. You don't have to be exact. What is it that I'm really feeling? What is it that I'm really feeling? And then whatever that feeling is, you move it through your body with movement, breath, and sound. Who was on the call yesterday asking how you release trauma from your body? I can't remember. That's how you do it. Movement, breath, and sound. And then after you do that, I thought it was you, Lynn, but I wasn't 100%. After you do that, you then do your magic sound. Okay? Everybody understand your work tomorrow? Your growth work? Okay. So now I want you to look at your 2 papers. And as you hold the 2 papers, it reminds me of Joni, who came to me. She was skeptical, angry, very angry, grieving the loss of her son, blaming herself, beating herself up for the loss of her son. And when she started to go through this, she was so skeptical and so angry that she took a little bit of time, but when she started to follow these processes, she began to realize that she had choice. She had choice in the way she wants to feel. She had choice in every single moment to shift out of a feeling. And that's what I gave you guys right now. I gave you a choice. You can choose to stay in the shit of the first one that you did, that box that keeps you stuck wherever you are. Or you can let that one go and start to move into the new paper with the new possibilities, the new feelings of lightness and calm, right? So you choose. Which one are you choosing? Drop it in the chat. First or second? Doreen did the same thing. She chose the second. And Doreen and one day you'll meet her. She's an amazing human being. And she had, I'll say, she would go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 forward, 1 step back. And what she realized is that it was the inconsistent use of the tools. She had depression. She came to me, didn't even realize that she could make a decision for herself and invest in herself, or that it was okay to do something for herself. Now she's training to be one of my coaches. She's up in that inspired leader bracket now, right? And so, but what she realized for her was that it was these small, consistent steps that was making a difference. So you get to make these small, consistent steps tomorrow. So drop in the chat your takeaway tonight. If you do have any questions, you can drop them there. I'll give you a couple minutes to write any questions in. But I want you to know that tomorrow we're going to unlock your heart. We're going to unlock your heart and allow yourself to continue to rise up that ladder, to continue to make a way to move forward. And make sure you sign up for your clarity call. That is with callwithangelica.com. And I'm really here to support you. So if you have any questions, drop that in. So we have tomorrow night, Thursday night, it's called Rediscover Your True Story. And we're really going to step into your possibility and choice. Allow yourself to see how many choices you have in your life. Friday is a healing where we're going to tune really into not all your chakras. That would take hours, but we're going to pick a top 3 for yourself. It's going to be different for everybody, what you tune in, and you're going to be able to work through and release some of the stuff that's in there, so that you can have more release, more clearing, more opening for yourself. Saturday is a special bonus class on self-talk, and Sunday is a special class, a bonus class that you get to come to. I'm not telling you what it's about, but it's pretty cool. Okay. Let me read takeaway. I am capable of changing the negative patterns. Yes. Now I have ways to do it. Awesome. Yes. Yes. Any questions? No questions. I did a great job then. Woohoo. Awesome. Lynn, if you come off mute, you will be in the video. So that is in the recording. So
I'm trying to book a call and I'm having issues.
okay, Angelica will reach. Can you message her, Angelica, right here in Zoom and help her out?
That would be great.
Awesome. Awesome. For those that don't have any questions, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. The winners. Okay, this is what the winner is getting. Who is it? Laura and Lisa posted what the chakra they were working on today in the Facebook group. And I have decided to give you a 20-minute healing with myself. That's my gift to you guys. So please, how can you reach out to me? Irish, can you grab Lisa and Laura's name and then send them a message so that we can set up a time for them for a 20-minute session? For those that want to win something tomorrow, I'm going to have you put your pattern interrupt or your magic sound into the Facebook group, right? Continuously stepping outside of your comfort zone is going to continuously help you grow. So kudos to those that have, and now's an opportunity for you if you haven't. So awesome. I hope you have a fabulous night. I'm going to end the recording here and I'll stay on, Lynn, to make sure that you're got your information. And everybody else, I'll see you